take a look at the XFL transactions. So if you didn't see this article coming soon, Paxton Lynch got traded from the Orlando or via put on waivers. I'm not really sure. He moves over to the San Antonio Brahmas because the Brahmas are struggling. Kurt Benkert is on IR, so he is done for the season as well. So a lot of things happening with the Brahmas quarterback situation. So now Paxton Lynch is now over in Orlando. Quentin Dormady is the guy in Orlando. We'll get to the picks later on in the show. Raymond Callis was released. He didn't really play much for the DC Defenders. There's Kurt Benkert on injured reserve. Jalen Tolliver also on injured reserve. So clearly the San Antonio Brahmas are going to struggle for the rest of the season on offense. Other guys, Hunter Duplessis, the place kicker, was put on injured reserve for their Houston Roughnecks. Something to keep an eye on there. Michael Maietti, center for the DC Defenders, a big part. He was kind of hurt in the beginning of the season. He was put on IR as well. The Vipers signed D'Angelo Fulford, quarterback, so I guess he will be the third stringer. I don't foresee him having any playing time. Sam Sloman, kicker, was signed by the Vegas Vipers. They added them, and the Houston Roughnecks also added Austin Jones as a kicker. Nick Holley returns to the XFL after a little stint in he got cut, but now he is back for the Brahmas trying to help them out. Puka Williams was with the DC Defenders, then he was with St. Louis, then he's back with the DC Defenders because they have some injuries. DJ Swearinger, safety, has been added to the XFL. That was a big signing by the XFL this past week. Morgan Ellison on injured reserve, out for the season. Also, Edmund Robinson for the Orlando Guardians. Drew Plitt was also put on injured reserve. We talked about Philip Lindsay getting added. Kelly Bryant, quarterback, got added to the Arlington Renegades. See, Bailey Giffen got released by the Vipers there. That's the latest news when it comes to the transaction wire. As far as the injuries, we definitely need to keep an eye on the injuries. Let's take a look at that. So right now, Jeff Badet, Vegas Vipers, out. His game status is out. Something to keep in mind for your betting and DFS. And one of the top receivers in the league, he is out. So that is going to hurt Jalen McClendon because that's his probably best target. Geronimo Allison, he back. He looks like probable. Everybody else is pretty much probable. That one was kind of a big out there. DB Tim Harris is out for the St. Louis Battlehawks. Arlington Renegades, Victor Bolden is questionable. That was a guy they brought in to try to help them out. Bumani Rutimi, linebacker, he is out. That will hurt their defense, which is probably their only strength of their team. So he is out for the game there, but Donald Payne will be playing, so he's good. As far as Orlando Guardians, they look good as far as the injury fronts, just some dinged up offensive linemen. They should be good to go. I really think Orlando is going to win 2 in a row this weekend. We'll have to find out. Houston Roughnecks, we don't really know much about what's happening with Brandon Silvers. They didn't practice. He was limited in practice based on the way Cole McDonald played. Potentially, this could be a deal where they really want him to play because they just didn't look the same, but I don't think they have anything to worry about. I think you can go with Cole McDonald for this game. Nothing going on the San Antonio Brahmas. On the DC, really the game of the week, DC Defenders Seattle. Let's see here. The only one that did not practice, well, I mean, basically everybody's kind of dinged up, but everybody seems ready to go for the DC Defenders. Jakura Pearson, foot was on. He was limited in practice, but he looks to be all right. But we're still, those are the only kind of names just to kind of keep in mind with what's going on the injury front. Really, the biggest one is Jeff Badet out. As far as your depth charts for the teams, Orlando Guardians, Arlington Renegades, the game that I will be at. We'll see you at Camping World Stadium this Saturday at 4 p.m. Quentin Dormady is the guy. DeAndre Francois is the backup. Devin Darrington is now the starting running back over Jermaine Martin. I kind of agree with that. Cody Latimer is a guy. Charleston Rambo, Dan Williams, Eli Rogers. They have a good wide receiver crew there. For the Arlington Renegades, the quarterback looks like Luis Perez is getting the start this weekend over Kevin Anderson, who's been there all season, and then Kelly Bryant, which they just brought in. Javante Patton, Sal Cannella, wide receiver, tight end, Devon Smith, Brendan Arcondo, and Tyler Vaughns. Victor Bolden, who has basically had a good week last week. He looks to be a guy that he's still low on the depth charts. I would move him up. Houston Roughnecks, San Antonio Brahmas. Let's take a look at that one. We have Justin Smith as a wide receiver starting. They have Brandon Silvers as the starter with Cole McDonald as the backup. We'll have to keep an eye on this. Max Borghi, Travell Harris, Dante Burnett, Cedric Bird, all guys that you can think about having in your DFS lineup. On the San Antonio Brahmas side, quarterback Jack Cohn is looking to be the guy. He wasn't on the injury report, so it looks like he will get the start. Jawan Pass is the backup, and Paxton Lynch is the third string. Jaquez Patrick, TJ Vasher. Landon Akers looked like to be a guy. Same with Fred Brown, Elise Mack, tight end, and Emmanuel Butler going on there. Also, DC Defenders, Seattle Sea Dragons, Josh Gordon, Charlie Tapiamanu, tight end. Ben DiNucci is the starter. Darius Bradwell is the starter at running back. Philip Lindsay is the backup. That's something to kind of keep in mind. Jacob Pearson, Blake Jackson, Jawan Green, all great starts for the DC Defenders. Josh Hammond, of course, Jordan Tamu, Abram Smith, Lucky Jackin, Jaquez Ezzard, Jazz Ferguson. Chris Blair has been having good games as a guy to take a look at there. So some surprising things, some new. It looks like Jack Cohn will be your guy. DC Defenders, Seattle Sea Dragons. Of course, this, my friends, is the game of the week that you're definitely going to want to check out Sunday, April 9th at 4 p.m. in Seattle. There you have it for the latest injury transactions and depth charts. So there you go.